All right, I want to welcome you to the Do Work Podcast. The Do Work Podcast is a weekly podcast where we discuss all things mindset, okay, motivation, free thinking, and how to live your best life possible. Today is no different. So we're gonna talk about the comeback kid. We're gonna talk about the elephant in the room, okay? And I don't know if you know or saw, there is a there's a new vid. There is a new vid. I have to be careful what I say because it'll get, I don't want it to get muted. But there's a new vid, guys. There are schools that are implementing um there are schools that are implementing mask policies again. Now, I need you guys to understand something. If you don't realize by now that the whole 2020 situation was probably definitely a big scam. Okay, definitely a big scam. If you're still a firm believer that the government acted in your best interest, do you? But I do not. Definitely a big scam because we all know, and we should know this because we all still get colds that no one you can't get rid of a virus. We all still get flus. We do things to try to mitigate risks, right? But to shut down a whole country we now know it was a waste, which is why some of you are on booster number 11. Okay? You're on booster 11. But anyway, there's a new vid. And the question is this. And if you guys want to argue, like I like to say, you can argue with your mom or you can argue in the comments. There has been rumor of potential shutdown. There has. And the question is this. If this new vid arises, would you do it again? Would you mask up? Would you close your business? Would you would you be willing to repeat what we did in 2020? Because there's a few things that are for certain. And again, you guys can argue in the comments. There are a few things that are for certain. One, a lot of people got a lot richer and it was nobody I know. A lot of people got a lot richer. A lot of billionaires got a lot more money and it was nobody I know. Okay? Two, a lot of people lost everything. Governmental control. And three, the biggest thing is our rights were taken away. We were forced to stay in our homes. We were forced to wear a mask. We were forced to take vaccinations. And a lot of people had to because it was either do that or you're not able to feed your family. So the question is, if we had to do it all again, would you do it? And I'm going to tell you right now, my answer is no. I was one of the last people to get vaccinated. And the reason was I had to go to Canada. I wanted to go to Canada and speak. That was a decision I made. I got vaccinated to go to Canada. At the time that all this happened, I did own a business. I owned a club at the time, and gyms were like smashed. So at my gym, I did not mandate that anybody do that, nor did I mandate any of the members do that. We had a weak ass mask policy, emphasis on weak. Wear it when you come in. What you do once you go to the back is your business. During that time, I traveled a ton. I was like flying all over the place. Because there were places that were open, Texas, Florida, some other places, where I was able to go to conferences and still work and, do as much shaking and moving as you could do at that time. So I flew a lot. And if you flew during that time, you remember everybody was masked up. Nobody wanted to cough. It was wild. It was just insane. Flying during that time was a pain in the butt. And then once it became a federal mandate, and if you didn't, they would kick you off the plane. Things got weird. I was on a plane several times where people were removed because they refused to wear the mask. So it's coming back. The question is, would you do it again? And like I said, my answer is no. There's no way I'm doing that again. You duped me once, bruh. You duped me once. You duped me. Okay, you duped us. And I say dupe because it was one of those things where if everybody collectively would have said no, it wouldn't have happened. But what happened was a large enough group collectively said yes. So the powers that be won. Knowing what you know now, would you do it again? That's the real question. That is the real question. And I'm telling you right now, my answer is no. I'm not shutting down nothing. I'm not wearing a mask. It was just a waste of time. It was a waste of time. Because you know what happened? And this is the part that got me. Once, all this blows over, a year and a half later, there were a few moments that I had. I was still traveling a lot, as you know. I travel a ton. I remember getting on a plane for the first time where things had kind of settled out. I guess everybody was getting vaccinated and this, that, and the other. Mind you, insurance companies made a lot of money. Anyway, and I remember hearing a pilot say for the first time, it is no longer a mandate for you to wear a mask. Do what makes you comfortable. And they still say it depending on where you go. Do what makes you comfortable. And we ask that you respect each other's wishes. Y'all know we could have did that 2 years ago. Because mind you, people would have still wore masks. People would have still avoided public gatherings. And please, don't get me wrong. I remember, let me see, the crash was in 2008. Sometime in the mid-2000s, I remember the swine flu happened and stuff was getting weird. And I was like, till this blows over, you ain't going to catch me at a club or a bar. Let's wait till it blows over. Oh, hi, everybody. Pancake wants to be. And until it blows over, you're not going to catch me there. That was a choice I made. And even with the mask thing, I didn't want to. I thought it was uncomfortable, and I genuinely still believe it doesn't work. But to the people who believed it worked, or that's what made them feel good, I'm like, well, do you? So I'm trying to understand why as a society we couldn't do that to begin with. So I say to you, they're about to run it back. Pay attention. It's an election year. They're about to run it back, or they're going to try. The question is, are you going to be compliant? Are you going to stand your ground? I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for listening to Do Work Podcast. Do Work Podcast, podcast where we discuss all things mindset, motivation, free thinking, and how to live your best life possible. Make sure to go over to the website, subscribe to divarichards.com. Yo, send me a message. Let me know what you think. If you don't want to post publicly what you think, let me know what you think. Send me a message. I want to know what y'all think. All right. Have an amazing day. Be great. Let's